Do you think that most people are chasing dreams they genuinely want, or is it an identity that they are making up in their head?
There's so much noise. So a lot of people are pursuing things that they don't even really want, or they wouldn't enjoy that lifestyle. Like, there's a lot of work creating content, putting the work out there.
Oh, yeah. You don't even see the work that it takes to get there.
They're chasing that goal or what that lifestyle looks like to them without it being something that they want. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But that's where everyone's getting caught up into, especially young kids, because they're seeing on social media, they're seeing all this, do this now, success now, and then they don't commit to it. Like, one of my best mentors is a guy named Bo Eason. I went and trained with him. Like, he held an event. It was like for 100 people. He caps it at that for like speaker training, because I was like really trying to get into this thing. I haven't had my first paid speaking engagement yet. And his whole thing, he's like, my whole life, he's like, I set 15, 20-year goals. And he's like, because I set them like, I want to be the best at first, because he was playing in the NFL. So he's like, my first goal was I want to play in the NFL. You know, he was still in middle school, or maybe he was in before middle school. It was a 15-year goal. And he's like, after he like tore his knee like 7 times or something like that in the NFL, he's like, I want to be I want to be the best Broadway stage performer. He's like, and he paid like a bunch of money to meet with Al Pacino. Al Pacino's like, you got to give it like 20 years if you want to be the best. So he's like, that's fine. He's like, those are my timelines.
Yo.
But his whole philosophy is like, you set these long-term goals, because like, it's not that you're not working on it. It's not that you can't have experienced success now. It's not like you can't start building a business, but like, to truly be where I want to be, like, I started thinking in those timelines, and it's just like, it like gives you release from like, I'm not where I want to be, or like right now, it's not happening right now. Cause then you just start bouncing from thing to thing because it's not happening quick enough, and you let it go, And so when I started thinking these like long-term timelines, it's like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to keep cranking away at it. Like, I might put out a couple of books that aren't the best, but I'm in that, out of those 7, I'm going to, there's going to be a bestseller in there somewhere. Out of the next 10, there's going to be a couple of bestsellers, and that's it. And those are the numbers I'm going for now. And it's just like, that playing that long game is everything, man.
It's the way to go.
Yeah.
Like Matthew McConaughey talked about in a speech how 10 years from now was ended up being his idol. So every 10 years, and once he got to that 10-year mark, then it was the next 10 that he idolized was that version of himself. And it's funny to think, I used to think in that way, that really fast, very linear way, where it's like, I have a goal and a dream, and it needs to come to fruition. In 2 months, I'm going to be here. In 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, whatever it is. Then you realize that nothing is linear. And your dream is a hypothetical. It's like walking into your house thinking your wife's going to have sex with you. And that's never how it goes. That's never how it goes, dude. It's like, why are you dreaming so specific? Why do you have this fantasy of like the world moving precisely the way you want it, as if you're God?
But you're setting yourself up for failure, because when it doesn't look that way, then it's like, dude, it could be crushing, or
even if
creates,
it's good.
Exactly. Because it just creates friction then, because, this is not how it looked, or this is not how I imagined it, or whatever it is. And so that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a wild realization that I've been coming to lately. Big reason why I wanted to have you on is because I'm in such a mental whirlwind, in a positive way, I feel like, of separating my old decisions of having such big goals and dreams and aggressively chasing them, but not having the understanding of what chasing a dream really should be, like the pursuit of a dream should be. And so you've written 7 books. You've written extensively about big dreams. You argue the real problem isn't the dream itself. What is the little problem most people never see until it's already holding them back?
It's becoming who sometimes you didn't even know you were supposed to be. You're pursuing this thing. You're pursuing this idea, how it's going to look. What that's all going to look like, how it's going to feel like. But I think the biggest thing that people miss is that growth in the process. And I realized, for me, every goal I set, every dream, I've achieved so far, I feel like the realization is who I'm becoming in the process, like shedding those old, like all these layers that I didn't even know that I had. And I was like, I have this big thing where I say like everyone, and I include it in this book, like everyone should have a big dream. Like I say that because not for the sake of, so you can have a lot of money or so you can look a certain way or so you can, people can view you a certain way, but for what it's going to make you, like Jim Rohn, I think said it was originally, that's where maybe my idea came from. It's like, his mentor told him like, set a goal to make $1 million, not to have $1 million, but for what it's going to make of you to achieve it. For me, that's like my mindset with pursuing a big dream. Like when you wake up in the morning and you're working towards something bigger, it forces you to create disciplines. It forces you to think. It forces you to chip away at those insecurities and those limiting beliefs that you have. You have to become, because the person that you're going to be or that you're going to need to be to achieve that dream is not who you are now, likely, not likely, you're not, And so in that process, it's that shedding of those layers. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've discovered is like, yeah, I'm pursuing this thing, but who I'm becoming is, it's just fun to watch your own transformation, to look at an old journal of, what you wrote in a journal 5 years ago, or, you're just like, wow, I thought that way. Like, wow, that was back then I thought I knew everything, and it just is really cool.
And that's why the time thing is so prevalent, is because when you're so clear and precise on what you believe your dream to be, you don't see the man you need to become or woman you need to become to enact and fulfill that dream.
Yeah.
And so that timeline needs to be long, because you don't realize that some dreams require skills that take 20 years or experiences that all coalesce 20 years deep, So how does someone recognize that problem before it, begins to shape their decisions?
If you can
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry, I read the wrong one. My bad.
Okay.
How does somebody begin to like implement their big dream if they have been stagnant and sort of just flatlining for a long time?
Yeah.
They haven't even had a dream yet. They begin to dream. What is the implementation of the strategy of getting your mindset to adapt,
I know it sounds overly simplistic, but taking action, dude. Like, because you can, it's better to take action in the wrong direction than to not take any action at all, because if you take action in the wrong direction, you'll learn along the way. You can readjust, you can change, you can adapt, you can restart again, but it's it's the moving in the right direction, taking some sort of a step in the right direction. You build confidence, you build momentum. That's how you defeat imposter syndrome, like by just putting yourself out there, moving in that. Man, I've struggled with this for a long time, because for me, like I'm an action, like that's a strength. Like if you were to sit down and be like, Michael, what's your strength? I used to have a struggle with that. I'm like, I don't know what my strengths are. I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm like, my strength is I'll take action. Like even if it's dumb, even if I look back, I started a podcast or something. I look back at it and I'm like, what was I thinking? But I'm like, but I started and I tried. And if it takes me 10 times to start 10 different things, I'll find the one thing. But I never had a problem with moving in the right direction. When I wanted to get into the speaking thing, it was like, okay, what are they saying in the industry? Like, how would I get, if I Google, how do I become a motivational speaker? It's like, well, you need footage, event planners need to see you, that you're comfortable. They need to see that you have a message. I'm like, cool. How do I do that? Let's write a message. I need video footage. I don't have video. Like, let's put together an event. I'm just going to invite friends, set up a camera. And so I was always quick, and I do a lot of dumb things, and I put myself out there. So you put yourself out there for criticism, for sure. People mock you because they see you at day one, and that's what stops most people. They don't want to be seen. Brendan Burchard says it best. He's like, most people don't want to be seen starting small, so they just don't start.
You don't want to fail publicly.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's just like, I wish I knew the answer. Like some people will talk to me and like, that's so cool that you're doing this, that. Like and I'm like, why not? Why don't you do it? And it's just like they start backing away. I'm like, then I don't know the answer, because I can't help you if you're not willing to just take action. Like I know it's, like I said, it sounds overly simplistic or cliche, I'm not a therapist, you know, or a psychologist, but for me, if in my simplistic mind, it's what is that? What do I want to do? What's the smallest step I can take today in the right direction?
Yeah.
Like that's it. And if you don't know what that thing is yet, then move somewhere, you know, like find someone that you can imitate, someone that you admire, you know, and imitate, you know, like when I was starting out, it'd be like, oh, that person's doing like, they're doing like they have their own company. They're doing their, you know, they have a bakery shop. I'm like, that's really cool. And like you start to look into that. What would that take to start a bakery? You know, you start to do a little bit of research. Like, you know what, actually, I wouldn't want to commit my life to being in one spot. I want to travel. But the point is taking a step, doing some research, doing something. That's what it's going to start. You're going to start eliminating those options, and little by eventually you're going to settle on something. You're going to find something. Yeah. So someone who doesn't know exactly what that is, find someone to imitate. Find someone that inspires you. Someone that you're like, dude, I want to be doing that. Yeah. And go and take a step in that direction. If it turns out it's not the thing, that's all right. You can pivot. But now that's one thing you can remove off your list. Yeah. And dissect them is what, especially I've been doing with creating this podcast and trying to find out, like, how do I want to find my voice in podcasting, and what is podcasting? Like, how do you interview somebody? How do you communicate? How do you articulate yourself clearly and not only inspire, but like inspire a message that you believe in, and you know, all these certain things. So I just began dissecting some of my favorite podcasters and seeing what is their pitch, what is their tone, what is their format of their podcast, like just all these things. And then clarity comes in, you know? And so I think when action is taken, clarity is the next step that slowly reveals itself when you have when you progress, you know? And everyone wants that. Everyone wants that. People want to be told what to know. Like, tell me which of those steps I should take. And it's like, dude, I can't, like, because my journey is not going to look like yours. Even if you want to do exactly what I'm doing, writing and speaking, yours is still going to look different because you have different limiting beliefs than I do. You have a different background than I do. Something that maybe took me 3 years to overcome, you might just be comfortable enough to get up and do it, you know? So your journey is already going to look, you might do it quicker. I feel like it takes a lot to get through my head, you know? So I'm like, once it does, it sticks. Huh? Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, I can't tell you exactly. I can tell you how I did it, but the only way to clear that path is like, you take that first step. It's like, well, show me the first step, then I will go. It's like, no, you got to go. And then the path will appear, you know, then you're going to meet somebody, someone's going to come into your life, an opportunity is going to come into your life that you never would have imagined, but nothing happens without that initial movement. So yeah. Which is crazy that you were talking about on your whiteboard, how you have specific words that you use, and action is one of mine. Good. Yeah. For this year entirely. And Nate kind of helped me refine that. Good. And help me understand that, like, the more that I move, and you might not even see fruit yet, but the more that I'm moving, I'm seeing skill development. I'm seeing connections. I'm seeing all these other things that aren't, like, everyone just thinks it's money. But realistically, money is the byproduct of the skills you develop, the connections you make, and the time you put in towards something. Yeah. So, like, I mean, think about it, like, just look at it in just like the sense of, not to get all weird, but just like the sense of the ether and the world and the spiritual world. It's like when you're just stagnant and stale, things slow down. And it's just like, any action, even if it, like I said, even if it's in the wrong direction, starts to stir things up. I mean, you're moving atoms, literally. You know, when you putting things out into existence with your thoughts, when you're meeting people, you're shaking hands, you're inviting me to come to this podcast. Like, you're putting things out into existence. You're speaking it out. You're literally forcing things to happen. You know, and all sorts of things are going to start coming from it. Imagine if you just sat and thought about putting this together. You know, like, you could sit on this idea for years, and somebody's going to do it much better than you and much quicker than you because they took action. Not because they're more qualified or because they're a better interviewer or because they have better ideas, because they took that step, and that's it. And it's inevitable too. If I decide that this is a 10, 20 or 30 year thing for me, and I continuously do this every day, every month, every week, developing skills and meeting new people and interviewing, obviously I'm going to get better. Obviously I'm going to get really good. My opportunities are going to get better, and I'm going to be successful. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just the way life works. It is. Yeah. And it's going to hit that. It's going to hit that point where it's going to feel like you're pushing a train up a hill, And then where it's just like, all you're doing is work.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden things are going to start going into motion where it's just like, now it's like, I'm not even doing the work. There's things are just happening,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just like, just chilling and now the train's going downhill, you know, it's
what incredible. That's the difficult thing about social media is people see the train going downhill and not the train going uphill.
Yeah.
So I really want to focus on documenting everything that I'm doing, the whole process of me going uphill and just going like, yo, this is not pretty. Like it might look tight. This is not pretty. Which is kind of segueing me into my next question. Because lately I've been thinking about the way that I've thought about goals, success, chasing dreams before in my life made me feel like that little monkey off of Aladdin, where he goes into the belly of the tiger and they're supposed to get, you know, the lamp, and Abu sees the ruby, that massive ruby. And you think that is the goal that you're after, and realizing that like that's the shiny, you know, that's what you perceive the goal to be. That's not it. And he's screaming at the monkey like, don't grab that thing. It's actually this. It's actually the genie who gives you all the wishes that you could ever imagine. If you focus and if you don't get caught on all these things, then you'll realize that it's the skill development, it's the communication, it's the connections, it's all these things that's not the ruby that is sold to you. You know? And so how can someone pursue a goal without becoming imprisoned by it?
Yeah, so good, man. It's funny. I don't know if you're a man of faith or not.
I am 1000%.
Oh, good. Good to hear. Me too. My first thought when you were saying that,
You're the man, dude.
I don't know where I'd be, man, without my faith. But the first thing, right, when you said that, the first verse that popped into my mind is seek first his kingdom and all these things will be added to you.
Yes.
So it's like, he's not saying don't have that business goal, don't have that dream. Like, he's not saying that. He's saying, no, like seek his kingdom first. Like seek him in everything, and in the way I treat people, and the way and letting go of all these things and masks that we were talking about earlier, you know, and all these things that we're holding on to and grasping and trying to reorder our life and make sure everything's perfect. It's like, no, this goal, like if you put it into motion, he already knows where you're going. He knows what you want. Like, seek first his kingdom to me is like, man, how do I be the best father I can be? How do I be the best husband? Because I'm far from it. You know, how do I be the best person I can be? Like, I'm using my words, my tongue, which is a tool that's been given to me to inspire people, but I use it oftentimes to tear people down, to gossip, you know, like, and I'm like, so I'm right now working opposite of that. So I'm working on myself in that way. Yes, I'm working towards the goal, but like we talked about, as we're bettering ourselves in that process, the goal is going to come. That's going to happen. So, knowing that, that's where I realized that's how you don't get consumed by that little, you know, by the diamond, you know, by the gold, by just that thing, because you're going to get there and you're going to be disappointed, you know, because it's not going to feel the way you imagined it to feel, because you might get there and destroy every relationship along the way.
At what cost?
Yeah, at what cost? Exactly. And so, when you said that, I was like, that's the first thing that came to me. It's huge, man. I had like a realization. This is actually kind of recent. You know, I follow a lot of speakers because I'm learning from them. You know, it's inspiring. You want to have a community of people who are doing the same things you're doing. Yeah. And I noticed a common theme where it's like a lot of these speakers are like, for one example, there's a guy who speaks like 100 times a year. And I'm like, dude, I'm a family guy. Like, I love to be at home where my brothers are at so I can go out, you know, hang out with the boys, you know, and every weekend we're getting together with somebody from the family. I love to be at home with my daughter. Like, I leave for 2 days for a speaking engagement, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait to. Twitching because I don't want her to wake up in the morning and be like, "Where's Dad?" You know, she doesn't understand that yet. So like, I want to be there, but I see these speakers and they're speaking 100 times a year, and I'm like, dude, and they talk about how lonely of a business it is because you're on the road, you're sleeping in airports all the time. Think about it, if you're speaking 100 times a year, you're constantly on a flight because you got to get to another city. So you got one day of flying, you speak, then you're flying again. I'm like, dude, my original goal was to be speaking 100 times a year because that's what the best in the world were doing. And I'm like, hold on, dude, I'm gonna lose all these things that are most important to me if I hit that. And so like I had to reevaluate some of my biggest things. And I feel like that's where you can get caught up if you're chasing that one thing without stepping back and be like, hold on, like, is this going to affect my spiritual life? Is this going to affect my marriage? Is this going to affect my relationship with my daughter? And it's like, yes, to all those things, it was a yes. So I'm like, okay, then I got to reevaluate. I'm going to put a cap on how many times I speak. My goal is to do, like 2 tops, like, and I even want to bring that down to 1 a month, because I'm like, I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be something that I'm sick and tired of doing, and I'm just show up to an audience, say the same rehearsed speech and go home. I'm not serving them in that way. I'm just taking their money at that point, if I'm not giving my whole heart into it. Yeah. And so, I think that's a huge aspect of it, is making sure that what you're chasing, you always got to step back and be like, hold on, is this still aligned with who I want to be and and where I'm headed. So I know we took a couple of off tracks there.
It's all on the same track. Yeah. It's a spidering track, dude. It's that's something that I've had to reassess with this, and it's kind of shaped my dream because like, you're probably familiar with chasing multiple avenues of either a single dream or a bunch of different dreams. Realizing that that wasn't exactly what I wanted. That wasn't the path I want to take. And maybe I worked too much. Maybe I worked too little. Maybe you've refined what you need over time. And this seems to be the culmination of everything that I've ever wanted in the amount of flexibility. I love traveling, and I want to travel the world, and I want to do crazy, creative, exotic things. And this actually allows me to do that. But it also allows me to have balance and peace and wake up at my own time with my family and be there for my wife at home at night, in the morning, during the day, whatever it is.
And I used to beat myself up for thinking that way. Like, okay, but these guys are doing it, they're making bank, because they're speaking 100 times a year or 50 times a year even. So I used to be like, who do you think you are? Like that you're just going to set a cap, and still have it the way you want it. Cause you still have to, you still have to make money. You still have to, but I'm like, well, hold on. But when I set out for this dream, I was working in a regular 9-to-5 job. So I conjured this dream up out of my head anyway, and then I made it happen. I'm like, I want to be a writer and a speaker, and I made it happen. So I'm like, why can't I just set the next rules for myself? Like, this is what I want, and these are my non-negotiables. That's what I said originally, and I was able to make it happen. So why can't I keep further setting my own, non-negotiables? And if it's 12 speaking engagements a year only, and that's what I want to cap it at, then that's how it's going to be, and I'll figure out a way how to make that work for me financially as well. But like, you always start to like guilt yourself into like, who am I to think that, that I can make this happen? Like, these guys are grinding, like their work, and it's not to disrespect anyone's work or whatever, it's just like, I can find higher quality speaking engagements. I can, have a better offer to where I can charge it. I'll figure it out. But I learned is like, I'm just going to keep making my own non-negotiables. Like you said, like for you, it's important to be at home, to be able to, but also to travel and have that adventure side of it.
If I choose that, that's what I want.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people don't realize, man, that like, you can set your own. I know someone, someone's gonna be watching this and they're gonna be like, yeah, easy for you to say, but it's just like, okay, try it. It'll blow your mind what you put out into the world, how it can happen, because it likely won't even happen the way you think it'll happen, but it will if you have, excuse my language, the balls to put it out there and to speak it into existence.
Well, something that like you should ask yourself if you're listening to this is, at what level of success in any action that you decide you want to be successful, what level does it become self-doubt, or does self-doubt creep in? Because if I successfully wanted to go to the gym in the morning and I decide to go, it's like, okay, that was easy. I have no self-doubt about that. But if I want to start a business, at what point does doubt creep in? And at what point does the idea of going to the gym or the idea of starting a business not become success? Like,
where on that spectrum?
Do you lose faith in yourself? Because if I have, no matter what size of goal that I have, like if I accomplished one and bent reality to my will to make that happen, Like, why couldn't I do that for something bigger?
Yeah.
It's just bigger. It's just more effort. It's just more effort. Time. It's just more. It's just more. But that's it. So
I used to, when I was working at that dead end job before I started doing this whole thing, I call it dead end job. I was blessed. It was a blessed job, whatever. It was what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I remember, cause I was working at UPS loading night shift, hard work. Like you're running like 25 miles a day. I think somebody recorded it on their watch one time cause you're constantly in and out loading the UPS trucks. I was working my butt off. So I remember praying like I want to get a good stable job where I can earn a salary, that's aligned with the degree that I got was an associate's degree in a computer, like applied science, whatever it was called.
Okay.
And I got it. And I'm like, hold on. And then 2 months into it, I'm like, dude, like I feel trapped. Like I worked it for 2 years, but like 2 months in, I was already done. Like I was already thinking like, this is not my life purpose. This is not where I want to go.
You extrapolate, you're like, yo,
like,
I don't know if I could do this.
Exactly. But you start to doubt yourself again. I'm like, hold on, you got what you prayed for. What else can you what else can you put into motion? So once that clicked, everything changed for me.
Which is, that's the secret, man. That's the secret sauce. How much of what we call drive is actually ego in disguise, do you think?
Oh man, that's tough. See, because that's something I'm working on. Man.
See, that's the thing I'm working on too, and that's why I want to know, dude.
Yeah, that's part of seeking first the kingdom. Yeah, dude. Because there's so many layers, and there's so many. You might even convince yourself that this is why I'm doing this, or this is what's. And then you're like deep down, you're like, oh man, but it feels good to get the recognition, or if, not that there's anything I think specifically wrong with that. I think honestly, a big part of finding meaning in life is one, doing something that you enjoy, but also that is useful to other people. And also you can get recognition for it. I think that's important. I think as human beings, it's important to us to get recognized for doing good work or having an impact.
Yeah.
Whether you call it ego, I don't know, I'm not a guru. So I do think it is important to be recognized for what you do. Like, I came in this studio, I'm like, dude, good job. Like, it feels good, I'm sure to hear like that's something that you thought up in your mind, you put it out, you created it, and someone admires it. Like, I don't think that's ego, I don't think that's evil. I think it's great.
I just want to know what I could do better.
Yeah, and that's I think I think it's a human need. I think it's a human need to be recognized for being good at something. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Where the line draws between ego, that's what you have to just check yourself. Honestly,
sorry, continue.
Yeah, we were talking about social media earlier, and I was like, man, I'm always like on the verge of like, should I just like stop using social media? It's such a distraction. Should I just turn it off? But I'm like, but man, I got a lot of cool videos on there. Like, if somebody looks me up, they're gonna be like, yeah, Mike's cool, look what he's doing. And like, there's a battle with ego because now it's like, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the recognition only, or are you doing it as a, because you get to serve people and you get to inspire people and wake people up to their purpose. And it's, like I said, having a little bit of both I think is healthy, like it's good to be recognized, for being good at what you do or for doing something awesome. But I think you have to check yourself to see where do you draw that line of like, all right, now this is like strictly, I'm doing it just to be noticed, just to get attention. That's something you gotta look within. Yeah.
When I was younger, I remember I used to use ego to build belief in myself. And so when I was picking up the camera and filming and stuff, like you develop a small level of arrogance that was like subtle for myself, knowing that I was insecure about my skills, but I wanted people to believe in my visions and all this stuff. And so I think it was a tool back then to bypass a lot of my insecurities. But as I've developed skills and then you get older and realize like, people are just doing their own thing for the most part. And like, I'm chasing a dream and my goals, no one will ever know. Because no one knows. I don't even know. Every day it feels different. Changes, it switches lanes on me. So I'm like, ego is not the thing that you need. I think it's a temporary thing, but definitely think you have to check it. If it is prevalent later on in your life, you're like, and honestly, it's a huge, I
I think it's made a lot of successful people, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Cause Conor McGregor, dude.
Yeah. For me, I feel like what probably pushed me into the speaking thing, like I always wanted to, he's a good example. I've always wanted to write. I don't feel like that was ego based because it was just like a creative outlet. But I think speaking, I feel like maybe it's just for a long time or all my life. No, I can't say all my life. I'd say my high school years were pretty rough for me. I definitely didn't peak in high school because I wasn't a cool kid in high school. Yeah. But I feel like that constant feeling unnoticed, maybe that's what kind of
shaped that.
Yeah, shaped me to want to do something that's more public like this, that gets the recognition. I don't know. Like you can make that argument too, and I would admit it. I could see it, but I don't, like I said, and it depends on what it starts to make you do or what it makes of you. If you start turning into an asshole, like then you got to check yourself. But if it is that thing that pushes you out of your comfort zone and pushes you to do something creative, even though you're scared, even though you're terrified, but you're willing to put yourself out there, I don't know, it could be used as a good thing, you know? So
it could be a tool, just use it temporarily.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy with it. Do you think most people are chasing dreams that they genuinely want, or identities they think they will finally make them feel good or make them feel enough?
Yeah, say that one more time, the first part of it.
Do you think that most people are chasing dreams they genuinely want, or is it an identity that they are making up in their head?
Oh, that's huge, man, because I think that's big. I think that's a big part of it. The second aspect of it. Dude, especially in our world, man, because there's so much noise and there's so many people like, look what I'm doing, look how cool I am, and so a lot of people are pursuing things that they don't even really want, or they wouldn't enjoy that lifestyle. Like you see some of the lifestyle of some of the influencers, like there's a lot of work creating content, putting the work out there. And it's the majority of people who want that don't want to do the work that it takes to get there.
You don't even see the work that it takes to get there.
Yeah. So it's funny because earlier we talked about, find someone that inspires you. And this is almost contradicting, but it's not, because you got to just make sure that, it's actually something that you want. And I do think that is a problem. I think people are chasing the goal or what that lifestyle looks like to them without actually it being something that they want. Like for the example that I gave, me seeing a certain lifestyle that I saw in a speaker's lifestyle, that I'm like, a big part of that I don't want. I don't want to be living in an airport. I'm a family guy. So I'm finding ways to still make both work. But I think so many people do chase something just because it'll give them the recognition. Like some people want to write a book just so they can say that they have their name on it, and show people that they're an author, Do they want to provide value in that book? I don't know. That's up to them what's in their heart. But I think a lot of it is that is the trick, or the trap, I guess I should say, not the trick, is that because we're so flooded with so much noise and everyone's doing this, and I think a lot of people are pursuing things that are not even aligned with what they should be doing or what they really want.
Well, you talked about action in the beginning. Do you have, and that action can be used in that direction, which is seeing someone on social media, them doing something that they perceive is successful, then they act and immediately start taking those actions. Do you have any advice on how someone can either recognize that or find a way to see their authentic self and have an authentic dream? Like, do you know how to direct yourself towards that authentic dream?
Yeah, man. Like for me, it's such a good question. I mean, that's $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
If you could come up with a one sentence clear answer for that, like that's gold.
Well, at least I should say, how did that work out for you? Because I genuinely see what you do is what you love,
Yeah, for me, so I was working in that job. Like I said, I went to school, got a degree. I was working at UPS at the time, loading the box trucks. Got that, so I got hired at that job, which was aligned with what I went to school for. Realized I don't want to sit in a cubicle, and that's what that job was. And I'm like, I could go get a job that's more aligned with what I would enjoy doing more. It was in the computer kind of industry, but I'm like, But I just realized, I'm like, wherever I go, I might be doing the same thing. I might still be stuck in a cubicle. I'm still answering to somebody every day. I still have to ask my boss for time off. And I started creating all these non-negotiables for myself of like what I didn't know what I wanted yet, but at least I had a list of what I don't want. I'm like, I don't want to sit in traffic from, airport way that it takes me 45 minutes to travel a mile, like, and I just started making myself a list. So even before I knew what I wanted, I knew what I didn't want. And I was on a journey, man. Like I would sit down, I had a little notepad and I'd write down, I was like, oh, here's like an invention idea. That'd be cool to like invent something and have my own product. Oh, here's like a business idea here. And I just make a list of like these things that weren't even all aligned with each other, just ideas, business ideas that I could do for work, jobs, whatever it was. I just made a list. And it was a constant racking of my brain, which was at the time was one of the most frustrating times. Cause I'm like, I remember like praying like, Lord, just tell me, point me in a direction and I'll put all of myself into it. Like I have energy. I take action. I'm an enthusiastic guy. Like I'll pour myself into it. Can you just point me in the right direction? And it doesn't work that way. There's got to be a little bit of that racking of the brain, like, searching yourself and then when I picked up one of Augmendino's books, who's the author that inspired me to become, and he kind of shared in the book the particular book that I read, he shared his story, how he like went to a conference and the taxi cab guy like recognized him, was like, you changed my life. And I was like, dude, how cool is that? That not only are you going to speak to at a conference, you're getting paid for it, you're changing people's lives, but the taxi guy recognizes you because he read one of your books. And all of a sudden it was just like, bam, it clicked. I'm like, dude, that's what I want to do. Even though it was a ridiculous dream at the time, I was a shy kid. I feel like I still mumble when I talk. Like there's no skill or talent or nothing natural in me that would indicate that this is what I should be doing. But it was like, it clicked and I was like, dude, I know. Like it was about as clear as you could get of an answer. But that answer didn't come without months of racking my head and even pursuing different business ideas and stuff that I had at the time.
Like that can't be true.
That
can't be it.
And all of a sudden, when it clicked, I was like, dude, like that's that big dream that I can wake up and fight for every day. Like, I don't care if it's going to take me 20 years to get there. And once all these non-negotiables lined up, I'm like, this meets all of these, what I don't want list, and it was just like, that's it. I knew exactly. The journey is still tough. You still got to go do the, now that you set your sights on the vision on the mountaintop, you still got to you got to do the work and get up there. But now having a mountaintop was like, dude, it changed. I started showing up to work and I was a better employee.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wasn't going to be there for a long time. And I had purpose in my life now.
Yeah.
And it was everything, man.
Which is crazy that God gives you a glimpse of your purpose. It's just like a quick flash of the mountaintop and going like, hey, look over there. And then you see it and you're like, oh, that's where I need to go. Yeah. And then the path is just this treacherous, windy. Like, you're just like, you
shouldn't have showed me the mountain.
Why did you tell me to go here? He's like, but the view is super cool. Yeah. Like, it's going to be the best view you've ever seen in your life, Look at the story of King David. It's like, he got a glimpse of the mountaintop. Like he even got to be in the palace. I mean, like he got the promise. He was anointed as you're going to be king one day. He's a shepherd boy. I mean, he's literally around sheep poop at the time. He's in the woods in the muck. He gets the promise. Then he even gets a taste of it. Like he gets to be in the palace playing, his instrument for King Saul. So he even got to straight up be in the place, and it took him a long time to get there. But it's cool how like it's a true story, and yet it's such a parable for life. Or I don't know if parable is the right word. It's just a metaphor.
Metaphor, yeah. It's incredible, and I was just like, it's such a cool picture of what the journey is. It's like you're going to see it, or you're going to get the promise. You might even get a taste of the promise, but then you got to do the work. And yeah.
I was listening to I was watching Landman the other day, and he said a very quick line that was so life-changing for me. He was talking about his daughter, and he said, she took the easy road. She took a shortcut, which Lord knows that's the longest route.
Oh, man, yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's good. That's crazy. I literally got on my computer. I was like, let's get to work,
Yeah, so, that's good.
Yeah, it's just little nuggets like that when you're actually in it and you're really churning through the muck. You're like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Is because I'm learning so much the hard way.
Yeah.
And the hard way is what sticks.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad always telling me that, like, especially when it came to sports, is you're never going to be the strongest. You're never going to be the fastest. There's no reason why you should start. You don't have the most on-field intellect, all these things. So you have to work 10 times harder than everyone else who can naturally walk on the field. And so that's what I did.
Smart man.
And so everything that I did was as hard as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And I got so fine-tuned to, I'm not fast, but how can I be quicker than somebody? And then how could I move my body in a way that causes a negative effect on their motion and movement? And I learned that, and then I became on field faster than what their natural capabilities were.
Yeah. And you just developed
That's how you feel life,
Yeah. And you developed that don't quit attitude, man. Like you start like, you start to realize you're like, I'm definitely not the most talented. I'm not the most skilled. I probably don't belong here, but at least I won't quit. Yeah. I won't be the first to quit, man. If you're going to have that mindset, I won't be the first to quit, dude. You're going to outwork.
You're going to bypass
99%
of people,
dude. Yeah.
Who on paper should easily get this with a handout,
I learned that on the football field, man. Yeah. Like we played it's like a minor league, semi-pro league, but it was, full gear, everything. But I didn't play in high school. And so when I started, dude, I was so behind everybody because everyone.
That's a bold move.
Yeah. Because everyone, I loved football all my life. So I played backyard football, but football is not like backyard football. No. Like I was so in my head about the plays and all these things that, anyways, what I'm saying is like everyone who played has played in high school. So they were like, there's no way I was going to start, playing, I played defense, but I was like, but I noticed, dude, people just give up on a play. And I was like, dude, all I have to do is just get there, get there, work my butt off. Even if I just noticed, and all of a sudden you start to build yourself a reputation just because you didn't quit when we're all huffing and puffing on defense and the team is just running the ball 99 yards down the field. It's just willpower at that point. All skill and everything else goes out the window, dude. And it's just willpower. And that was a huge lesson to me in all of life, dude. I'm like, there's people that probably write better books than me or can. There's people that are probably more qualified to be speakers. Like, good for them. But this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it. And one thing I know is I'm not going to quit. I've learned that about myself, and that's it. If I know where I need to go, I'm going to go, and that's a game changer right there, man.
And I think the deciding factor for a lot of people is like seeing social media and seeing all these, just absorbing everyone else's story, skews you and your journey on your story. And so, what you have to realize is that your story is unique to you.
No.
And so it's everyone's story also is connected. Journeys are all the same, told in a different language, in a different time period, in a different way. It's just a different way to say the same thing, much more abstract, from a different angle. And so you can say yours from your angle, which then you're just filling in the story of life, dude. Like 2 generations from now, no one's going to remember you. 3, 4 generations from now, maybe longer than that.
Sure.
Yeah. My family's not going to forget me that quick.
No,
I hope not.
They will. People forget.
I love you guys.
Quick,
I love you guys.
That's why we got to live our purpose and do it to the best of our abilities, and then we're gone and let you know.
Yeah. Let's see, because we actually kind of touched on this, so I want to move on to the next one.
Sure.
Yeah, man. How you write about how dreaming can delay action. Why do people feel productive thinking about the future? Why do people feel productive thinking about the future while avoiding the work of today?
Oh man. Yeah, I do. I know there's probably some science to it. I think there is, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's like you get the when you sit and dream and visualize, you get the satisfaction of the enjoyment of what that dream and that vision is going to be or what it's going to feel like without doing the work. Right. And so like it is, because like you can sit together for a coffee with a friend, you're like, dude, you want to be like, and you just start brainstorming ideas and you get hyped up on, like we were talking about, you showed me the back room over there and what all the potential and all the possibility. And it's like, dude, you get excited, because it's like, it's bouncing off the ideas and you physically are, it's motivating, it's exciting. And sometimes people just live on that. and they get stuck in that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they get the feel of that excitement, the endorphins. Like I said, I'm sure there's research on it where people lose the motivation. I think there is. I was trying to think of a TED Talk that I watched, but there's no way I'm going to remember the lady's name. But it had something to do with goal setting and motivation. But I think, yeah, you get to experience that feeling, that excitement. But then when it's time to, go home and get to work, that's when it's like, oh, dang, dude, I don't feel so motivated. All the excitement is left. Maybe it was a bad idea. It's like, it wasn't a bad idea. You just, now you got to do the work, Yeah. And it's, I think maybe people get caught in always talking big and always dreaming big because it feels good to always be the big idea guy, to imagine. Yeah. It's life-giving, dude. Like that's a human superpower, is the imagination, because first you conjure it up in here and we can literally turn it into reality. The problem is, there's a lot of work between what's in here and then bringing it into reality. And I think people get caught in that. The hype, the excitement, the feeling good about talking about it, posting about it online. Yeah. I'm going to write a book, like it feels good. Now you already got the feedback. People are like, yeah, awesome. So you've already got the feeling and the recognition from people as if you've already written a book, but you haven't even.
You didn't do the work that it takes to do that. Yeah.
And I think people get caught in that.
And that's what's been really resonating with me when I've just taken this journey and trying to understand God and people always say like, oh, we went to this church meetup and, they gave their life to Christ today. And it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. To which there is truth to that, just like the idea, but that's not it. It's like, it's the commitment and the sacrifice of knowing that every decision you make from here on out, that you're seeing it and you're recognizing the old version of yourself that you have to kill to become the new version of yourself.
Yeah, that's so good.
That is the hardest thing to accept. Yeah. And that's the real giving your life to God, because the first one is just like the idea.
Yeah, it's the excitement, it's so nice to feel good, the emotion.
To feel community and the emotion and all these things. And it's like, that's not it. You shouldn't be preaching that. You shouldn't be teaching that, because that's not real.
Because then you're going back to the mess. Yeah. And it's like all of a sudden, hold on. This isn't as exciting and heartwarming as the feeling I felt, Yeah.
You get a glimpse of that mountaintop in the positive way. And you don't get to see the valleys and the treachery that lies ahead,
Because, turning to God is not, he doesn't just all of a sudden pull you out of your mess, like no, you got yourself into financial debt. It's like, all right, I'm turning everything over to you. Like, you got to help me, be with me, but he's not going to pull you out of that debt. Like, cool, I got you. I'm here with you. But like, what did we do to get ourselves in this mess? How do we get out of it? And people play genie, I think, with God too. Like it's just
if he can do this, then why can't, why aren't you?
Sure. And when it doesn't happen, then their whole faith falls apart. Cause like you're building it on sand,
and the people from the outside looking in go like, well, if you believe in God and you believed in God for 30 years, like, why isn't he taking you out of this situation? Or why haven't blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that's not the angle to be looking at it. Like, it's, what if it took me 40 years to get to where I need to be? And those 30 years are a training ground to get past all of the negative aspects of my life. What if I was raped as a kid and or what if I, was in drug abusive relationships or anything like that? Like, what if my trauma is so big that, he's showing me the long route of how to get beyond this. Like, that's how you should be looking at it.
I think Moses was 40 when he killed a guy in Egypt and ran out into the desert. And I think he was 80 when he came back.
That's wild.
40 years. Yeah. Like, you don't read it as that timeline because you read it as a story. And it's like, dude, that's a long time. What was he doing for 40 years?
Yeah.
Probably God working on him, or him running and not wanting to work on it, whatever that journey is.
Bugging out, probably.
Yeah. But that's a really good question about, like why people get stuck in that big, because it's an easy trap to get caught in. Just dreaming big, talking big, getting excited, getting the recognition for posting about it, and then, no action is taken. So it's just like, it's just going to be a cycle. And the worst thing about it is every time you talk about it, that the last time you talked about it, nothing happened. And so you just, you're gonna feel more and more like an imposter.
Oh yeah.
And that's a bad cycle to be in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of pivoting. Do you think you would still do this if it was for purpose only and not for success?
Writing and speaking.
Yeah. Chasing your dreams.
Yeah. So if I meaning, let's get specific. You're saying like if I was not making money on it, or it wasn't making me enough money to even pay my bills.
I mean,
right.
That's
So
tough.
you're saying would I still do
it's
it?
It's tough because it's like, what is your idea of success? It's like success if it pays my bills and I get to do it, a couple times a month or whatever it is. I don't know. It's more so like if your desired outcome isn't achieved and it isn't achieved for a long time, and you feel the weight of things crumpling around you. Yeah.
That's a good question, man. I think yes, first and foremost, I'd say yes, but not because I'm such a purposeful guy and such a awesome guy and wants to help people, which I'd like to think I am, but I'm not, yes, I would, because it's such a creative outlet for me. It's so fun. Like flying out, every single trip it's an adventure, man. Like I'm flying out to New Mexico here in 2 weeks. I've never been there. I'm gonna check it out.
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
It's a flat adventure.
Yeah, but you also I know, but I love. You're from Arizona, so okay. Yeah, but I've never been. I love the change of scenery. It's different. So it's an adventure for me, but I also get to meet people. I get to talk. Like I get to do something that's fulfilling. That I get to pour out, share my story, but I also get the recognition. It just fills all those needs. You get that, and then I get to come home. So what I'm saying is, I think I would keep doing it. Like if they weren't even paying me and I wasn't selling, maybe if I wasn't selling books, I don't know if I'd keep doing that. That'd be tough because you're pouring yourself into something you
want to see something.
People reading it or people buying it, selling books means you have value to what you say. Yeah. I think I would keep doing it, but I would find another business, another way to make income, to pay the bills on the side to do it. But I'm a big believer in if I have the health and the time and the days on earth, why not just push it to what I can? Why not do as much as I can without losing?
Do what you want to do.
And do what I want to do without losing my soul, So I do believe in finding a way to support yourself too. Like we were talking about, putting together this studio, it's all awesome. You're giving people a platform, you're giving yourself a platform, but you have to pay the bills. You have to support yourself. Otherwise, then this stuff it's no longer fun. Yeah. Because you can have good conversations, you can have awesome events, you can serve people, but afterwards you go home and you got to pay the bills and you got to feed your kids. It takes the fun out of it. Oh yeah. It really does. So I'm a big believer in it's do something that you're passionate about, but it can make you money. Yeah. Otherwise, it's really good. Unless you have another business or something that can fuel this to where now you can just, Joe Rogan sits, he's making probably money off his podcast, I'm sure a ton, and sponsorships, but he's not worried about it, because he's got other things that are supporting that. And so now it just becomes fun. I feel like it can take the fun out if you don't have the success aspect of it, the financial success aspect. If we're talking finances,
just structure and just balance of knowing that these things take time. Yeah. So build the infrastructure first, and then as it begins to flourish, then hopefully you can transition. But always have a plan. Always have a plan on how do I monetize this? Otherwise, it's no longer going to be fun. Or either monetize it, or how do I find a way to support it? I know a lot of people I think struggle with admitting people want to I want to do a nonprofit. I want to do this ministry, or I want to do a nonprofit that helps kids. And they're afraid to say that I want to sell a product, or I want to it's people are afraid to say that I should be making, or that this could also be making money, because it's everyone wants to present themselves as kind-hearted or whatever. But it's no, dude, if you have a nonprofit, but you're always begging for money and support and financial help from people on Facebook every day, it's not fun. It takes the joy. It becomes just
just work and it becomes treacherous, and it takes the love and the heart out of it. So it's like, I always say, like, if you have a nonprofit, find a way to support it, to make money, so you're not constantly begging business owners to come and support it, which is not a bad thing, but like, find a way. Why not find a way to support yourself? But I think people struggle with that aspect of it. I don't think you should ever shy away from, like, we got to eat. We live in a physical world, you know, like, we got to pay the bills. We got to eat, you know?
Yeah. Hamburgers cost money.
Yeah, exactly.
Another question I had is, have you felt like during this path, especially after a couple of years of doing it, you've written some books, has the train ever stopped moving for you in fulfillment in certain periods? Or has it stopped entirely where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, you know?
With the speaking thing, that's where I had to reevaluate. Came close, because I was like, I did like 2 speaking engagements in a row. So I was away for like 4 days from my daughter, who's like 6 months old. I did not like that, man. I'm like, dude, no amount of success or anything or money can, like, I'm like, I'll quit and go get a job at 7-Eleven across the street if I get to be, you know, a block away from my daughter. Like, that's my mindset of it. You know, like, I don't know if I would actually do it, but that's my mindset of it.
We could go for something better than 7-Eleven.
But I remember thinking, I'm like, this whole time I've been pushing to get more speaking engagements, get more, because I want to be one of the best. You know, I'm like, dude, but like, for what? What are you pushing towards? Because when you get it, like, is that, you're gonna realize, like, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna be away from her even more. So there's that's where I was like, oh crap, I've been pushing this train in the wrong direction. Not the wrong train, just in the wrong direction, because it's what I want to do. It's a blast. I get fulfillment from it, recognition. It's fun. I get paid for it. But the area that I was pushing it to is not where I was like, okay, hold on, let's realign this thing. Let's find a way to set this up or build it in such a way that if I can get the books to support me fully, so then speaking, I just pick and choose which ones I want to go to and how many, and I cap it at 12 a year, whatever it is, whatever the number I decide to settle on. But it's cool. That's what's good to have those kind of moments, because where it's like you stop and you're like, hold on, let's reevaluate. Let's
reassess.
Yeah. And working towards a big dream is like that. You're going to have to stop along the way, because you set a 15-year goal, 5 years from now, you're a different person. You might not even be, so you got to realign, readjust.
Yeah. That's what I've been thinking lately. And the same thing kind of happens. I think it naturally happens when you pursue a goal and a dream, is that you get the realization of what it costs. It's not free. You know, it's not never, you know, I'm going to go and do podcasts, and then all of a sudden I explore by setting up a podcast in a waterfall or doing something in another state and like meeting up with some creator. And I'm like, that was amazing. I want to do this every day or every week or every month. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, I'm podcasting in another country and I haven't seen my family in like, you know, 5 days a week, you know, it's like, do I really want that? You know, so that's something that I've been dealing with lately and trying to make sure I'm, you know, shaping my life the way that I want to. Do you think fear is something to overcome or something to listen to?
Oh man, I could go from the, you know, examples in my life. I don't know, at least off the top of my head, I don't know if there's a fear that I listen to that is, you know, like, oh, I'm afraid to stand on the edge of this building because I'm going to fall down. That's a fear I would listen to, you know, like, because that's going to save your life. But any other thing, I think everything's just your human nature of trying to protect yourself or protect your ego. That's where I think most fear comes from, you know. A lot of people, you know, talk about like, well, if I invest into this business or I start this business, I could lose all my money. It's like, yeah, losing money, it hurts. But I think a lot of times we're more afraid of how we're going to look, you know, because now we're going to have to downgrade our house or our car. I think people are probably even more afraid of that. Like those. So I guess you have to identify it, you know, what is the fear, and then choose, you know, what is, you know, is this something that I should listen to, or something that, you know, that needs to be faced, you know, head on.
Yeah. I think examination is like just the most important aspect of it. Yeah. Because I've realized that the more fear that I have for something, whether it be being on camera, and interviewing people, whatever it is. Like I'm afraid of all these things. Like this job that I'm doing is fear-based. Like I've never been a public speaker. I've never felt comfortable having like my identity blasted out to, or at least put on the internet and shown who I am and long form and all these things for criticism and maybe, lack of intellect or lack of whatever the case may be. Like it's scary. But when I lean into it, I'm realizing that I'm overcoming a lot of the things that have always held me back in life.
And that's where your biggest impacts can come from. Like I'm preparing a speech right now because it's a little bit different than what I usually do because they asked for a different keynote in the speech that I'm doing in New Mexico. And so I'm speaking to a bunch of like city leaders, like it's like New Mexico Municipal League or something like that. So it's a bunch of like mayors, city planners, that kind of a thing. I'm speaking on this whole idea, like the 3 principles I'm speaking on is like, how do we live in 2026 courageously, intentionally, and authentically? And when I'm speaking about authentically, I'm one of the examples that I'm going to use is like one of my first books. I wrote a book. I think it was on the first book. I'm like, you pour yourself into this project. You put yourself out there. It's your best at the time. It might not be my best now, but it was my best at the time. And so, and to get any kind of negative feedback, it's scary, and the book was doing great, but I got a bad review on Amazon because I'm reading every day. Any reviews I get, I'm reading, and the review was like, it's embarrassing to even share it, but it was like, the guy said the most cliche negative comment you could say, like, this guy shouldn't quit his day job, like that. Like, I'm like, I literally sound like people, or I literally think people are going to think I'm making this up but I'm like, that's literally what he said. He said, this guy shouldn't quit his day job. And I thought it was first I laughed because I'm like, dude, that was the most cliche. I'm like, you just gave me motivation just by saying the most cliche and dumb thing ever. But it did hurt, like, I'm like, dang, dude, like, is it that bad?
Yeah.
I had a pretty rough week, but it's funny because I got so many good comments and reviews and emails and messages, but that one sticks with you. And then that same week, I had a guy who's like, hey, dude, it was an email, I think it was. And he's like, it was just like not long after Christmas. He's like, I went through a rough divorce. I'm like disconnected from family, like completely isolated. Like I was going to give him the Christmas gift I was going to give him was I was going to kill myself or something like that. But he's like, because of your book, I decided that I'm going to give life another chance.
Yo.
And I was like, holy crap. And I was like, and this guy's like, I think he was 50 something. He was like a dentist or something like that. He's in a pretty low place in life. And I was like, dude, like, so when I'm going to be talking about authenticity, I'm like, dude, you're going to get criticized, man. You're going to put your work out there. You're going to get criticized. But it's like the same way that, that snarky remark, that guy, whatever, he didn't like the book, but I'm like, because I put myself out there in the way that I did, it saved someone's life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how it's going to be, man. Like, you're going to get criticized. Yes. But like, you keep doing it. You keep facing that fear. You don't know what you're keeping from the world by withholding it, So when you're saying, do we listen to the fear? It's like most of the fear is going to corral you because your ego is going to say, no, don't do this. It's going to make us look stupid. Don't do that. They're going to laugh. Don't push us, like people already know me a certain way. If I put myself out here, they're really going to know who I am. And I'm not as smart as I made myself look on social media, and all of a sudden, and it's like all these little things that corral you. And what happens is you just keep your purpose from the world, or you keep your gift from the world when you listen to that. And so ever since then, I've learned, there's been a lot of those kind of things in my life, but that is a big one that I refer to when I'm doubting myself, when I'm about to step on stage, when I'm releasing a new book. Those are like those stories, those anchor points in my life where I'm like, I go back to that and be like, dude, no, like if I withhold this, what am I withholding from the world? Like this is a gift that I've been given. Use it. This is a talent, there needs to be an investment on it. One day I'm going to report, one day my life is going to end here on earth. I'm going to answer for how I spent my time, and it better be to the best of my ability. That's it.
And how many people need to show support before the people who doubt you make more noise than the people who support make more noise than the people who doubt? Because like for me, I've always loved the camera, and putting your work into something is like, it's emotional. It's like it's vulnerable, bro. I put my being into this, and other people are either absorbing it and enjoying it, or some may critique it, say it sucks, whatever the case may be. But we always look for the people who are like best in whatever field we're trying to be creative in, and go like, I want their validation. You know, it's like you can get like 1,000 of your best people. You know, if you got that many, that's a lot. But, if I got like 10 people who are just gassing me up, who know me personally, who love me, who care for me, are saying that they love my stuff, it's like, why am I looking towards everyone else? I should just be focused on the improvement. And if somebody does have something negative to say, hopefully it's for a critique that the next time that I put a book out, the next time I make a video, the next time I do something, I can improve, you know? And then if you're like, we're going to heaven, bro. That's I'm going. But, you know, you get up there, it's like,
get to have confidence in that.
Do you want your first book to hit? You know, do you want the story to end? Do you want to be the most successful author ever, you know, off your first book? No, nobody wants that. You want to suck and
grow.
you want to grow and develop and know that when you turn 70 and 80, you're like, that was a wild ride. You know, I got something to tell you. Like, I got a lot to tell you. It just wasn't a straight and narrow path, A to B. This was the whole alphabet, you know?
And just getting comfortable with knowing, dude, some people are just not going to pick up what you put down. That's it. Like, that's a big, like, that's hard as a writer and a speaker. That's hard to reconcile with. Cause like, you want to think everyone in the audience is enjoying you. You want to think anyone who picks up the book, and it's just not, dude. There's people in your life that right now, if you get on social media and you post the sky is blue, someone's going to say, no, actually, you know, and it's just how it is, man. Like, and knowing that and being comfortable with that, it's like, dude, there's just, I mean, look how we are politically, like people are divided, like people are, it's just like, you just understanding me, like, this is just how it is. And not, and finding your audience, finding the pour, as long as you're doing your best when you're pouring into your gift, your talent, what you're producing, it's your best, at least at the time, do that. It'll find its own audience, you know, but never let fear prevent you from that, you know, cause like, that's the death of your life purpose. That's the death of your gift, that you might be the only person carrying that gift in the world, you know, and you withheld that, man. And that scares me most.
Is there a certain point in the timeline of pursuing a goal, a dream, a desired outcome, where someone has to, they just have to let go? Do they have to determine that they have to let go of an old version to become a new version? Do they? I'm trying to figure out how to frame this. Like, how does someone
kind of get to the point of no return?
Yeah, I feel like I always get put in a point of like these crossroads of my old self screaming at me that it doesn't want to go forward because it knows it's going to die, and the new version of myself is being reborn into someone who has to sacrifice and be more disciplined and not take the easy roads and do all these things. Like, is there a point in your journey where you recognize that symptom of transformation?
I mean, I feel like it's all the time, honestly. It's a battle, dude. I feel like that's the journey, is like, like we talked about at the very beginning, there's always layers to peel, you know? So I think there's always going to be a screaming to get back to the comfortable and to keep pushing yourself to the next thing, you know? I don't know if that ever goes away. I think if you're growing, it's not going to go away. You know, right? Because there's always going to be the new
growing
thing,
pains,
the new layer. And you see it with the most successful people in the world, you know, people from presidents to, you know, people who are the best in what they do with acting, every, you know, business, they're going to have, it's not like they don't have fear in them. There's not just like something that they just conquer fear and that's it. And they're like this machine, you know. I don't think that, I know that's not the case. I think there's always just a layer to peel, and there's always something that you can improve. I don't know if there's like a distinct, you know, moment.
I guess for somebody first getting started, because realistically, like as you run towards a journey, you realize that it is consistent and it's a reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
And if you find success, then you sit there and go, now what?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's the new journey of like, you deconstruct the successful version of yourself to then reconstruct a new version that is a different identity, you know? And so I think just for people who are just starting that journey, it's like, what do you remember the first time where you had to really look at yourself and go like, I have to evolve?
Yeah, this at the very beginning, like when I talked about Bo Eason, at the very beginning of getting into the whole speaking thing, man, I was so like, I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I couldn't think of like, I would see speakers and they look like they're talking off the cuff, and I'm like, dude, that's not me. I'm like, you put me up on stage. Not only am I absolutely terrified, like I mumble, I wouldn't be able to remember what I'm saying. Like I just felt like there's something wrong with me because I couldn't like remember. I wouldn't be able to speak off the cuff, even though I had all these ideas. I had all these ideas. I had all these thoughts to share. I even wrote my first book at that point. But speaking was like my next battle or my next kind of
skill to develop.
So I went and I paid, money that I didn't have at the time. I used a credit card to buy a flight to go to California, to stay in a hotel, to pay like $1,500 to be in this 3-day seminar with this guy, Bo Eason, who used to be an NFL player. And that was the next thing I had to conquer. It was just like, dude, I need to conquer this because I'm terrified. I'm not comfortable sharing my story. Like I have it in there. It's in there because I already knew that because I was trying to blog. I had written my first book. I had a story to share, but it was such a debilitating thing for me. I didn't know if it was even possible for me for this to be something I was going to get comfortable with, because I always looked at everyone who was speaking and I was like, man, they look comfortable. This obviously comes naturally to them. So for me, that was like a big thing that I was like, because I came to a point, I'm like, either that's it, like just don't ever try this again. Just forget this aspect of it. We'll keep writing. We'll do something else. And I was just like, no, it just kept drawing me. And that's when I was like, crap, like this is something this is the cross that I'm going to have to carry if that's what it takes. Now it did get easier. I'll get nervous, that kind of a thing. But at the time it was worth it. I'm like, if this is the cross I have to carry, man, like if this is the thing, like I'll do it because it's worth it for me to pursue this and not quit on it. So that was a big one. Nice. Where I was just like, that's like the transformation needs to happen. Like old Mike is no longer, it doesn't fit the version of new Mike, dude. Yeah. Like he doesn't. And so
he needs this skill to become that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sweet. What I'm learning, I'm going to wrap this up here in a sec, absolutely. But I got 2 more questions for you. What I'm learning most importantly now, and what I've been working on like rigorously, is communication and articulating my messages clearly and finding a way to find my voice and because you have all these ideas, but if you can't share them correctly and have everyone be able to digest them easily, then there's no point of having these ideas. You're going to be bottled in. Like if Martin Luther King couldn't speak, would his messages hit, And so who taught you how to speak, and then how did you begin to develop that skill, both on stage and off stage?
Yeah. So the guy I just mentioned, Bo Eason, helped me break past the fear of it. Yeah. He has this incredible, the whole event was like, it's how to attach your story to your physicality. So he doesn't teach you how to write a keynote speech. He teaches storytelling and how to move your body. Like that was his whole thing. Which for me, that was the best thing I could do at the time, because I was like, I could structure a keynote. I could put it together. I have stories, I have examples, I have anecdotes. I have points, principles that I can talk about. For me, it was that specifically, the fear, the getting up on stage. And so he taught on the whole, the physicality, like how to move your body, and teaching that the way you move like in the same way that your brain tricks you it puts you into a state of fear, which then physically makes your body smaller and constricted, and you talk quieter. He's like, in the same way that you move your body, in that same way, the way you move your body tricks your brain. So if you move confidently, even though you're scared on the inside, you can trick your brain to being more confident. And that was a game changer for me as a speaker, man. That was everything. So I took Bo Eason's story up, stage presence.
Okay.
Honestly, it wasn't even about what he said at what he taught at the seminar. It was the way he spoke. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, the whole time I was watching him, I could have put him on mute. Not that what he had to say wasn't good. It was great. Yeah. But the way he moved, man, was like, because he used to play in the NFL. So that was his whole idea, like connecting the physicality of football with speaking, which you think is the most opposite to. Yeah. But abstract, the way he, dude, it works, man. And I was like, holy crap. Like I said, I could put this guy on mute, and the way he moved around the stage, the way he used his hands. And I was like, dude, it's like art, man. Yeah. And I was like, that's what I need. Mm-hmm. Because of what I lack in these other things, I can make up for in that. And that'll help me with my confidence. Because I know when I'm confident, dude, I'm like an open, but I lacked confidence, And so like I combined that, and my favorite speaker at the time was Brendan Burchard. I probably still is. He's an awesome dude. He's a personal development coach. But the way he spoke, I think is the best, because I'm not the biggest fan of like motivational speaking where it's just like the hype and yelling, which is there's for everyone. There's this,
there's a taste,
and it's good. Mm-hmm. Like Eric Thomas is awesome. But his is a lot less structured. If you notice his speeches, like it's amazing, but it's not like I like to where it's like more structured. Like I make a promise, I'm leading you somewhere through the entire 45 minutes, and by the end of the speech, I better have delivered on that promise. And Brendan Burchard was like the best that I've seen at it, combining storytelling, humor, but emotional aspect of it. Those two, I think, combined. But before that, what got me excited about speaking that was like Og Mandino, who was the author of that book that I said, and Jim Rohn. Love those guys. I love like old school. I think is the way I grew up with my dad. Like we didn't have a TV growing up. So my dad, the way our entertainment after dinner was like storytelling. My dad would just sit there and tell us stories about my grandpa in the war, or how it was growing up in the Soviet Union, the persecution of Christians, and how they would hold church services in the forest, because the KGB would come and throw people in jail. And so like that was my life. I grew up on that. So I think I was immediately drawn to like guys like Jim Rohn, Og Mandino, these guys that weren't about hype, but just like spoke calmly and with wisdom, that someone could sit, there's no dancing or clapping or nothing. People could sit in a room for 3 hours, listen to a seminar, and no one gets up to go take a leak, And I'm like, dude, like that's a skill. And I know I got a long way to go, but I'm like, when I'm 87, if God willing, I can live that old and I'm still healthy enough to get up on a stage and speak. Like that's what I want to look like. Yeah. So I know I got a long way to go, and that's what excites me most.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, last question. I got to ask you, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten?
In what aspect of life, or just life in general?
Well, I guess what gave you the most, what stuck with you the most? What gave you the most clarity? What gave you the most of an aha moment? What gave you the most direction?
Yeah. Oh man, I got to rack my brain on that, because just so many, like every season of life is so crazy different. You need something so different. Yeah. I mean, I can't
say one of, because I had asked myself the same thing, and I had many avenues that you can go
so
down.
Many avenues, so many seasons.
My mom has said some incredible things. My dad has said
I heard a little bit that he shared with Nate, something about that your mom shared with, as far as like relationships, things like that. It was really good. Yeah. But you had a specific aspect that you want to give me an example? Because like I said, I can go down 10 different avenues.
Like one of the things that stuck with me the most is what we had spoken about a little bit earlier, was the fact that my dad had told me during football that that nothing is to outwork everyone. Nothing is, you will never get a handout, is what he told me. I remember him saying, he's like, you're never ever going to get a handout. No one will come save you. No one is going to allow you to be the at the pinnacle, the peak, the star. Nothing will be given to you ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's rang true for my entire life, like through and through. Like I do feel like I've had blessings, but not handouts.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've had my wife be the ultimate blessing, and not at all a handout. She's been an absolute lesson in my entire life.
That's awesome.
in a journey, you know? So for example, that's just one of them.
Yeah. I'll keep it on the subject of like the speaking.
Yeah, keep it on that.
Yeah, I keep, just because one thing came to mind. I know, Bo Easton better be paying me royalties for this, dude. The amount of times I've mentioned him, and I always mention him from stage, everything. He had a huge impact on my life. But I actually captured it on video. I have an old cell phone video when I was at that event. So he does this thing where you come up and you, he calls it one true sentence. So he's like teaching you how to like scrap everything. Like if you had one true sentence about your life or about who you are, what is it? And you can only say it literally in one sentence. So a lot of people are like, you know, when I was 9, my dad passed away, you know, like something that's like that moment in their life that like, you know, so what he's teaching them is to how to cultivate or how to build their story and their speech around that.
Okay.
But anyways, I came up, I did mine. I said something funny because I couldn't think of anything at the time. And so everyone laughed, but he paused and he's like, you have something. He's like, people are going to listen to you and they're going to follow you. He's like, now the question is, are you going to pursue this thing or are you going to go home and bury it? And he's like, and you better let that haunt you for the rest of your life. Yeah. And I was like, oh boy, dude, like that really put me on a check, you know, like it's true. Cause I was like, I was at that point when I even went to that seminar, I was at like, I don't know if I should be doing, it was kind of like my last ditch effort. I'm like, I'm going to go do this thing. If this thing doesn't help, I should probably just put this thing away, you know, cause like it was just that scary for me, that debilitating. Didn't know if it was something I could do, but I was like, dude, I have never needed, when we were talking about validation earlier from someone that we look up to, after that, I've never needed validation from anyone again, as far as the speaking thing. Cause I'm like what I perceived as the best in the world literally told me, you got something and you better let it haunt you every night, because if you don't pursue this thing, think about what you're robbing the world of, essentially is what he said. Yeah. But the whole, you better let it, you know, it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. I was like, dang, I still think about that all the time and it pushes me.
And your soul won't let you relax either.
Yeah.
Literally your soul won't let you relax.
Absolutely.
Like the reason why this came to fruition, and I'm sorry if you heard this before, because I've said it, I think in every podcast now, is I was praying to God.
It's part of your story, man.
I was praying to God in the backyard because I had no purpose, no vision, no clarity as far as what I wanted to do in life, knowing that I had all these skills available and a voice and a talent and a means of bringing people together, whatever the case. And I just had no emotion or vision of where to go. So I'm screaming in the backyard, like, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
Gave me this.
Yeah.
And I just knew that every moment that I wasn't doing it felt wrong. Or any time I took more than 2 days off or 3 days off from it, it was like, felt like a sin. Like it just felt like I knew in my soul, it's, if I give up on this, it will haunt me forever. It'll be like I murdered somebody and then tried to like just get away with it the rest of my life. And I'm just paranoid bugging, you know?
Yeah. Good,
so
man.
That's
something people can go their whole life and never find.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's something people can go, not that they haven't had those opportunities, maybe they just buried them, but man, like people are desperate for that kind of stuff and they either for reasons of their own choices don't have that, whatever it is. But like, if you can find that, like the way I found mine, you know, in this season of my life, maybe it changes in 10 years, you know, maybe, but that's everything, man. Like, like Bo Easton said, let it haunt you and you'll see what incredible things come of it and the impact that you'll have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the last quote that I have is a meme that I saw about this African dude who's standing by a pool. And he said, tough times never last. Only tough people last. And he's like, and I do it every time I like jump in a cold plunge or go to the gym or take a cold shower or do something really hard. It's extremely funny to me, but it's also so real.
It's powerful.
It's so powerful because I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, I am freezing. And I'm like, but tough times never last. Only tough people last. And anytime I do anything that's extraordinarily challenging to me, that plays in my head.
That's
and
awesome.
It's odd that it just bypasses every urge to quit.
That's awesome.
But I wanted to thank you so much for coming on, brother. Thank you so much for this book. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's A Little Big Problem with Big Dreams, Michael Ivanov. Bro, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming
Appreciate it, Brandon. Dude, it's been awesome, man.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'll do a sign off a different time, but
yeah.
until next time.